So it's Monday again, and this is Suma Rowjee of Cakes and More, and you're watching the video series Baking for Beginners. If you've loved chocolate, you're definitely going to be loving brownies. Brownies can either be made with cocoa or with dark chocolate, or a combination of both. And today we are going to be trying some really easy brownies using dark chocolate, and they are really intense in their taste, and you are going to be really liking them if you worship everything chocolate. So shall we try these? Now, melting chocolate can be quite tricky, but one good thing about this recipe is that the chocolate is melted with some water, making it really impossible for you to mess up. And so this is a really good recipe a beginner can attempt if you want to bake some dark chocolate brownies. So we first preheat the oven to 180 degrees centigrade, and I have this 8-inch square tin here. I have lined this on all the 4 sides, leaving an overhang here so that I can lift the brownies out easily. And if you want to know how to line a square tin for baking brownies, please watch this video here. And now the ingredients here, we have some chopped up dark chocolate. You could use dark or semi-sweet chocolate, anything you like to eat. But it needs to be a chocolate meant for baking. And we have some unsalted butter. It's quite soft because I want it to melt quickly. And then there's some water. We have some water here. And this is some vanilla bean sugar. And there's some almond meal. And there's some instant coffee here because chocolate and coffee make a really good combination. And there's some all-purpose flour or Maida. And then of course we have some eggs here and the mandatory vanilla. Now, apart from adding to the taste, coffee also helps to cut down on the sweetness and adds a very desirable bitter edge to the brownies. So now we are going to be putting the water into this saucepan, followed by the butter and the chocolate. And then the coffee. We're going to be heating this now so that the chocolate melts along with the butter and the coffee. You could omit the coffee if you wish and add the grated zest of an orange or maybe some cinnamon if you like. This will take a couple of minutes. Be sure the heat is low because you do not want the chocolate to start burning. Now, this would be quite contrary to what you would have read about chocolate and water mixing and the chocolate seizing up. But in this recipe, there's a compatible amount of water added to the chocolate so that it actually helps the chocolate melt and it becomes really nice and smooth. And so now this is how it would be. So now this is your melted chocolate and butter. It's really smooth and fluid. And now we are whisking in the sugar. You could also use caster sugar if you wish. We want to whisk it so that it gets well mixed with the chocolate mixture. Now I just want to scrape my spatula around this saucepan just to make sure there isn't any sugar stuck at the corners. And now if this mixture is really hot, then you can wait for a couple of minutes till it cools down a bit so that you could add the vanilla and the flour and then finally the eggs. And if you need to let the mixture sit for some time to cool, just make sure that you do not leave it long enough for the chocolate to set, or then it would become difficult to mix the batter. And now we are going to be adding the almond meal. These are ground almonds, and then some all-purpose flour. As you would have noticed, there is no baking powder or baking soda here. Again, just to make sure there is no flour at the corners, I am going to give this a quick stir with the spatula. So whenever you bake anything, it's good to observe the consistency of the batter, and a normal brownie batter would be something like this, but in this recipe the batter is going to be slightly more thin. And finally the eggs now. I've added the vanilla into the eggs, and now we are going to be whisking this into the batter slowly, one by one. And we want to make sure that each egg is completely mixed into the batter before you add the next one. And remember, you're not whisking here to incorporate any air into the batter, it's just to mix it thoroughly. And now you can see the consistency of the batter here. It's almost pourable. You could also stir in some toasted nuts or maybe some chocolate chips, but I like these brownies this way. And now this goes into the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes at 180 degrees centigrade. The timing varies from oven to oven, and I bake my brownies for about 20 minutes. You could set it for about 18 minutes and again put it back into the oven in case it's not done yet. If the center is still gooey, then you could again put it back. Gooey brownies are still better, nobody is going to complain, but if they are over-baked, then they do not taste all that good. The brownies are baked when the center feels just set and you do not see any more wet batter on top. So it's almost 20 minutes into the baking time, and I'm going to be taking the brownies out now. And put them on the rack to cool, and we will let them remain here for about half an hour till the brownies cool completely, and then we'll remove the brownies out and then cut them into squares. Now the brownies have cooled completely, and I'm going to be lifting them out of this tin. And now to cut the brownies. The sides will be quite crusty and the insides will be quite gooey. The brownies are good enough on their own, but you could also serve them with some whipped cream or maybe some ice cream and a drizzle of some butterscotch sauce.